Hey Free Press Facebook fans. My name is Mark Kurlyandchik. I'm the restaurant critic for the Detroit Free Press. And this is my busiest week of the year. We're halfway into the week where we name all of our best new restaurants that debuted last year, as well as Restaurant of the Year and Restaurant of the Year Classic. If you've been following along today, we've been counting down the top, the 10 through restaurants 10 through 6 on the best new restaurants list. Tomorrow we'll do 5 through 1, and Friday we'll announce the Restaurant of the Year. Right now I'm at Hazel, Ravines Downtown in Birmingham, which made the list this year, and I'm here with executive chef and co-owner Emmele Herrold. Hi, Emmele.
Hello.
How
Hi.
are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
So this place is at, it's in Birmingham at the corner of Maple and Woodward, but the entrance is off of Peabody Street.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the concept for people who may not have read the article. What do you guys do here?
Sure. So we are a neighborhood-friendly restaurant. That's been our goal. It's been actually years since we started conceptualizing. We wanted something that was approachable to everyone from all over, but especially Birmingham residents who don't really have that available. I know that a lot of people have been leaving Birmingham to go find something a little bit more approachable. So we decided on neighborhood and then kind of went with it from there. The name, I know, is long, as Mark has pointed out, but it is a culmination of some neighborhoods in Birmingham that I think a lot of Birmingham residents do recognize. So it kind of adds to that neighborhood feel. And then from there, we gave some personalities to those names. Mm-hmm. So each name, Hazel, Ravines, and Downtown, all has a separate personality, and we've done the menus like that. So food menu, drink menu, things like that. They give a little something for everybody.
Yeah, what I love about it is it's kind of a creative way to get to be that approachable thing for mixed groups. You know, somebody who's an adventurous eater might find something, while somebody who's, maybe likes to stick to their tried and true American classics.
Right, and without having like a 14-page menu that is, I don't ever want that. That's my least favorite thing to do. Right. So in this menu, I was able to kind of give everybody something without taking away from the authenticity and the integrity of the food.
Yeah, so the menu is split up into the Hazel section, right, which is like
familiar food,
familiar American kind of comfort food.
Yeah, so grilled cheese, chicken noodle soup, burgers, things like that.
Yeah, and the burger is great.
Thank you.
Big fan of the burger and the French fries.
Yes, yeah.
The middle section is kind of the more world cuisine and international cuisine. What might we find on there?
So that one is really fun, and it does rotate a little bit. Peruvian chicken, Argentine asado, some fun, like right now I do a curry shrimp, so an Indian flair, and then the Georgian cheese bread, which I know you're a fan of. So from Georgia, the country, not the state.
Right. Not Atlanta.
Exactly, not from Atlanta. Yeah, right. And again, always rotating. That's part of the plan. We've only been open 3 months, and I've changed the menu once already. And plan to do it again soon. Just to keep it, Hazel will always be the same unless, something crazy happens, but I want people to know that they can come and get that thing every time and then look to the other parts of the menu for something new.
Yeah, we didn't talk about downtown, right?
Right, so downtown is, we're calling it trending, basically a way to just play with some trending ingredients or styles of food. So you might see some well-traveled food on downtown if it happens to be a trending area and whatnot.
And we're gonna see some food today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do we got?
This is the Georgian cheese bread,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
So this is Georgian cheese bread is kind of the simple way to say hachapuri.
Hachapuri, yeah.
Right? This is a staple dish in the Caucasus country of Georgia, the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. This is an Algerian style hachapuri. They're kind of an ethnic subgroup in Georgia. So it's like, I call it a bread boat.
Yeah, it's the boat
like
version. So there are some hachapuris that are different shapes and some are filled, and this one, to me, was the most exciting to look at and fun.
This is probably the most recognizable to you if you are familiar with hachapuri. This is kind of what you picture with the runny egg yolk on top. You kind of take your fork and mix up the yolk.
So then it turns. A lot of times when people think of cheese bread, they think of cheese sticks, like breadsticks from a pizza place. But with the amount of cheese and the egg and the butter, it's more of a sauce for dipping than it is.
Sorry if any of you out there hasn't had lunch yet. This looks amazing. It is one of my favorite items on the menu. I was in Eastern Europe this summer, and had some there. I think I like yours better because of that Bulgarian feta really kind of gives it that salty
Bulgarian feta is like the world's best ingredient, I think. If you haven't had it, it's way different than a lot of the other fetas out there.
So there are 4 kinds of cheeses in this boat?
Yes, yep.
Bulgarian feta.
Bulgarian feta, there's a Gouda, a cheddar, and a Gruyere. So all mixed with the egg, and there is butter. It melted a little bit, but I promise you there was a butter pat there.
I don't know. I just have to. This is kind of how I do it.
This is my version, right? I'm allowed to eat it because it's for work.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. So you kind of have a background in this approachable style of food, right? I mean, you helped open One Eyed Betty's in Ferndale, Pops for Italian after that, a couple other places.
I think it's my style of food for sure. Is, some people might call it rustic. I just call it good. I'm not looking to break the mold as far as any fancy stuff, although I appreciate it all, and I do think I have a skill set that is important to giving people something a little bit different, but always I've maintained something a little bit more approachable.
Crowd pleasing.
Crowd pleasing, yeah. And I think that, we forget that crowd pleasing is a good thing. It's why we're here. So, and it's important to keep this kind of restaurant out there for everybody. And when you have a big space like this, I can't do, prefix meals for 200 people every night. Right. So, it's a great way to fill the space. I think it's the kind of menu that allows for a big space. So.
And you do lunch and brunch as well?
Yep, we started right away with lunch, brunch. I think we're going to do some late night stuff pretty soon. Kind of.
Happy hour is great. You've got the highball machine that I love.
I know, that highball. It's so ridiculous how good it is. Like, it's just soda water and bourbon, but it's the gas level and the amount of CO2 that comes through in this special. It's like its own special gas. So
if you go to freak.com and you read the story about Hazel Ravines Downtown, you'll see there's a photo in the gallery of this highball machine. It's a Jim Beam machine, and it's basically whiskey and soda water that's pre-mixed, and it comes straight out of the tap, pre-mixed, and it's super fizzy. It has that kind of that carbonation that kind of reminds you of champagne. Or something,
absolutely.
Like those really fine bubbles.
And it's dangerous because it doesn't taste much like bourbon. So you can drink a lot. I mean, that fizz, I don't know, makes it seem less alcoholic, even though there is a full shot of bourbon.
It's refreshing as well.
Yeah, no, there's a little lemon twist in there, and it's like I said, dangerous.
Especially, to wash down a burger and fries. I mean, that's kind of ideal.
Yeah.
And I think I see a burger.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Can you see this gooey melted cheese? Oh, this is so good. So tell us about this burger. You do 2 4-ounce patties. 2
4-ounce patties of ground
chuck.
Yep, diner style. American cheese. I think American cheese belongs in one place on a burger, or let's face it, a grilled cheese at home, but not in a restaurant. So yeah, American cheese, and then yellow onion, and instead of pickle, I use dill pickle aioli that we make with a lot of pickles and pickle juice. So it gives you that bite of a pickle a little bit, but in every bite rather than only when you get a.
And I love your French fries. I mean, I know they're simple. They're skinny. They're perfectly crisp. They're really well seasoned. I mean, you don't need to add any more salt to them, which I love. It reminds me of how McDonald's fries used to be.
Salt and pepper. It's so funny. It's like the most important ingredient. Those are the 2 most important ingredients to me. And people say, what do you do? Salt and pepper.
So you have kind of the hearty fare, but the other thing I really love about this place, and by the way, for those of you who may just be tuning in, we're at Hazel Ravines in Downtown. It's a new restaurant in Birmingham. I'm here with executive chef and owner Emmele Herrold, and we're talking a little bit about the restaurant. Hazel Ravines Downtown today made the best new restaurants list, which you can see at freak.com. We're just kind of going over the menu here. The other thing that I love, other than you call this a token burger.
Yeah.
I think it kind of undersells it a little bit because it's a great burger.
It is the one though that's on the menu. So thank you. Yeah.
You are also around the corner from Hunter House. Here, so
very true.
Tread lightly.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I love your raw bar, and that's kind of a dinner only thing. But talk a little bit about your offerings at the raw bar.
Yeah. So our raw bar has turned into its own entity. I think of it. It's its own menu section. I hired Richard Washington to helm that menu, and he is far and away much more intelligent about the subject than I'll ever be. He's very knowledgeable and has a lot of experience and has curated a really cool menu. So we have anywhere from 16 to 25 different kinds of oysters on the menu at all times. And we also include, we do king crab legs and uni and head-on shrimp, chilled shrimp and stuff like that. So he's getting in, we buy directly from farms. So on the West Coast, we go through Hama Hama. On the East Coast, we go through Island Creek. And then, of course, Fortune Fish and Taylor Fish bring us some things. But mainly we get it direct from farm. And it's just constantly changing. We're constantly teaching our staff. He will sit down for pre-shift before a shift starts and give a lot of really cool lessons to the staff. So we're able to, give that to the guests, that knowledge as well. Mm-hmm. It's something you don't see a lot here. We went out to Boston right before we opened. We're going to do a little bit of R&D. Not a bad way to work. I'm sure you know. Yep. And our list feels exactly like those lists. It's as the oysters they have on their menus are same as the ones we have, just 10 hours old. You know what I mean? Like they're come next day.
Yeah, I mean, super fresh. For my money, it's one of the freshest, one of the largest selections, the freshest oysters. Expertly shucked. It's really worth something kind of. I know that this is a neighborhood spot, but that's something that's worth kind of driving out of the way for it.
Absolutely, and expertly shucked. Like it's so important to him that every single oyster is shucked perfectly. We call it the perfect shuck, and it's every picture, everything that goes out is. There's a lot of attention to detail there, and it's really important to him and me, of course, and I think that people are starting to notice.
And Richard has that background. He came from Voyager, which was a Best New Restaurant last year, which specializes in seafood and oysters, and he was kind of running that oyster program and kind of brought over that knowledge to Birmingham.
Yeah.
One thing, too, that I want to talk about that is kind of not food related is you guys are really trying to kind of improve the industry and make it more palatable for people to be in. Talk a little bit about that.
So, this is my first adventure as an owner. So I've been the salaried employee that works 80 hours a week because I'm the salaried employee, and I know what a challenge it can be, for a work-life balance. And it feels like in our business, the higher up you get, the harder you work, and you don't get to enjoy the benefits of getting a promotion or whatnot. So. Beth and I decided, Beth Hussey is my business partner, decided that we were going to try to change that and break the mold a little bit. So all of our salaried employees have 40-hour work weeks.
It's unheard of, by the way.
If
you never worked in a restaurant or you don't know, 80 hours is far more typical than 40.
And it's, in order to preserve that and really stay true to what we do, if they work more than that, we pay them an hourly wage. Because, of course, things are going to happen.
They're making overtime, basically.
They're making overtime, yeah. So instead of taking advantage
unheard of.
Yeah. So, and it's working, Richard is the one of the two people who shuck oysters. So and he's a salaried employee, so a lot of times he works more than 40 hours, and we pay him to do it, And I think that when you're presenting that to somebody who's been in the business so long, they're like, yeah, right, you're not going to really do it. But that's why we put in that overtime pay, so that they knew that we were serious, and it's working. It's expensive, there's a reason people do it the other way, but I think it will pay off, and our cooks and everyone get paid a really good living wage. I don't think that you can have a loyal staff if you're not paying them enough to live. Yeah. So we start our cooks at $16 an hour and up, and that's really important to me, and it's worth every penny.
Well, I mean, as great as that is, it also really changes the dynamic of the experience for guests.
Absolutely.
You can feel when the person taking care of you feels taken care of. I mean, it really starts from that.
And it's that challenge constantly we're talking about in the business. You've written about it, that it's so hard to find help. It's not that hard to find them. It's hard to keep them when you're not giving them a work balance. So I've kept them, because I'm giving them and they're giving back. So in turn, it's not like we're just paying people and not getting anything. We are getting a loyal staff that's happy to be here and wants the food to go out the way I want it to, and it really does make a difference. And I've run 3 kitchens in this area, and I can see the difference.
Speaking of food coming out, I think we have one more dish here to showcase from Hazel Ravines in downtown in Birmingham. This is your Peruvian chicken, right?
Yes. Yep.
Look at that crispy skin. It's thighs.
Yep, 2 thighs. Right? My favorite of the chicken.
the best cut of chicken.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's for sure.
So this is the Peruvian chicken. These are fingerling potatoes with huancaína sauce on top, which is a really cool yellow pepper sauce traditionally served on top of potatoes. And then ají verde, which is a green pepper sauce in there to go on the chicken.
It's like a cilantro base.
Cilantro base, a little bit of jalapeno.
Yep.
My parents live in Florida half the year, and there's a lot of Peruvian presence there, so we've been eating Peruvian chicken.
This is a dish that you're seeing kind of all over the country, and it's exploded.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good and so approachable, and like, you know, there's so many different flavors that this huancaína, the first time I had it, I was like, what is in my mouth right now? It's a flavor I've never had before.
It almost, I don't know about you, but it reminds me fondly of like Monday nacho day at school with that like the hot nacho cheese.
Oh yeah,
but
like the nacho cheese
kicked up to like a chefy level.
And it is. It's like the staff calls it the cheese sauce. I'm like, it's not really cheese sauce. There is cheese in it, but it's not. It's the Bulgarian feta actually is what goes in it. But it's more of a pepper sauce. But it's just such an interesting flavor. That amarillo peppers, yellow by the way, is amarillo. Have a really cool flavor, and there's all sorts of weird stuff in there. Saltine crackers, to name a few. So this dish is really fun. It doesn't have any like, you know, a lot of times when people see food from other countries, they're a little bit intimidated by them, but there's not an intimidating flavor in there, you know, so I think that it's very popular. I mean, I think that it starts with chicken, you know, people like a chicken dish, but they end up coming back and getting more because the flavors all meld together and make a really cool eating experience that isn't overwhelming for anyone.
That's great. Well, I think we got to wrap it up here. We're at Hazel Ravines Downtown again. And by the way, I'm just going to call it Hazel's.
Yeah, please call it Hazel's. I call it Hazel's. I want it to be called Hazel's. We know it's a long name. We wanted to pay tribute to the neighborhood, but we are willing to shorten it for the ease of getting here.
Yeah, and you should get here. Especially you got a great happy hour. You got a brunch that you just started. And for those of you who have been to brunch at One Night Betty's back when Emily was there, I think we'll probably be happy with what you're offering here as well. You probably have some followers already that have come out here.
Yeah, it's cool.
For that brunch.
Yeah.
Emily's certainly known for her brunch around town. So we are counting down the best new restaurants all week long on Freep.com. Check out the Hazel Ravines in Downtown listing. It's live now. Tomorrow we'll be counting down the top 5 best new restaurants, and we'll culminate the week Friday with the Detroit Free Press Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers 2019 Restaurant of the Year. Thanks for tuning in. Follow along on Freep.com and Freep.com/Roy. Cheers.
Bye, thanks.